Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive.
Today, we're cracking the code on attraction.
Specifically, those crucial first impressions.
You wanted the inside scoop on what people really noticed right off the bat.
So we dug into this intriguing article. 11 things women quickly notice in a man.
Now, before you jump to conclusions, we're not here to reinforce stereotypes.
Right.
We're after those universal truths about attraction, the subtle cues that make someone stand out regardless of who's on the receiving end.
Ready to decode the attraction equation with me?
Absolutely. What's fascinating about this topic is that while it focuses on a specific type of attraction,
It offers valuable insights into human behavior as a whole.
Okay.
We all make snap judgments.
Right.
And understanding what influences those judgments can be incredibly beneficial in various social situations.
You read my mind.
Okay, so this article wastes no time in debunking the movie star myth.
Turns out it's not about looking like you just stepped off the red carpet or flashing a platinum credit card. Phew. They actually emphasize something much more down to earth, how a man carries himself.
Think grooming a clean-shaven face, neat hair, that sort of thing.
Right.
And get this, a genuine smile. You know, the kind that reaches your eyes. I've got to admit, a warm smile can be completely disarming. Have you noticed that too?
Oh, absolutely. And there's a psychological reason for that.
When we see someone who's well-groomed, it often signals self-respect and attention to detail.
Okay.
It suggests they take pride in their appearance and, by extension, themselves.
These are qualities that can be incredibly attractive because they subconsciously tell us that this person cares about making an effort, especially in social situations.
Exactly.
It's like saying, hey, I'm showing up as my best self.
And speaking of putting your best foot forward, this article hammered home the importance of conversation skills. They even shared a story about this guy who seemed like Prince Charming at first glance, until he opened his mouth. Awkward silences, zero follow-up questions, the whole deal. Talk about a mood killer. It reminded me of this one time.
Oh, I can only imagine. But it highlights a crucial point.
Yeah.
Good conversation is about so much more than just filling the air with words.
Right.
It's about connection.
Okay.
When someone engages in a genuine, stimulating conversation, it signals intelligence, emotional intelligence, that ability to read the room and respond accordingly, and the ability to build rapport.
Which are all essential ingredients in the attraction equation.
It's like they're showing you they're interested in what you have to say and that they value your perspective.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful ways to do that is by asking questions.
When someone takes a genuine interest in our thoughts, feelings, and experiences, it makes us feel seen, heard, and understood.
So true.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the bad boy effect.
I know, it's a cliche. But before you write it off completely, this article had an interesting take. They suggested it's not about actually being bad, but rather projecting a certain confident unpredictability. What are your thoughts on that?
It's an intriguing concept, isn't it? I think it challenges us to look beyond the surface level.
It's not about being rude, rebellious, or playing games. What's likely attractive here is the underlying message.
Yeah.
This person has a strong sense of self, they know their own mind, and they're not afraid to stand out from the crowd. That can be incredibly alluring because it hints at a certain depth and complexity.
It's like that quiet confidence that speaks volumes without them having to say a word. Okay, get ready for this next one because it's a big one.
Okay.
The article emphasized how telling it is when someone treats service workers poorly. You know, waiters, baristas, anyone they don't have to impress.
Right.
What's your take on that?
It's a massive red flag for me.
Why? Because it reveals a lot about someone's character and values. How someone treats others, especially those in a position of service, speaks volumes about their empathy, respect, and overall emotional intelligence.
And these are fundamental qualities that lay the foundation for any healthy, lasting relationship.
I couldn't agree more. It's like that saying, you can tell a lot about a person by how they treat those who are beneath them. But it's not about being beneath anyone. It's about basic human decency.
Right. It's about recognizing the humanity in everyone we encounter.
Exactly. And you know what else really struck me? The article pointed out how much our nonverbal cues can say without us even uttering a word.
Oh, absolutely. Think about it. Our tone of voice, our body language, even the way we hold ourselves, it all sends a message.
Right. Like, apparently, constantly checking other people out is a major turnoff.
Yeah.
And I can see why it signals that you're not fully present or engaged with the person right in front of you.
Exactly. And on the flip side, maintaining good eye contact, using open and approachable body language, and really listening when someone is speaking, Those nonverbal cues speak volumes about your interest and respect.
It's like you're saying, you have my full attention without actually having to say a word.
Precisely. And these subtle signals can be incredibly powerful in shaping our perceptions of one another.
So we've got this whole symphony of nonverbal cues playing out alongside our words.
Exactly. And that's what makes those first encounters so dynamic and, let's be honest, sometimes a bit mysterious.
Okay, before we move on, we have to address the elephant in the room. The physical aspect of attraction. Because the article definitely didn't shy away from that.
Right, and it's important to acknowledge that physical attraction plays a role. It's a natural part of the human experience. But here's the thing.
It's not the whole story.
Exactly. While our eyes might initially be drawn to someone's appearance, it's often those other factors, their confidence, their personality, the way they make us feel, that truly amplify that initial spark.
So it's like the initial spark ignites the flame, but it's all those other elements that keep it burning bright.
I like that analogy. It's about the way all these different facets come together to create something truly captivating.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here. We talked about the importance of grooming and style, but also how a genuine conversation can be a total game changer. We tackled the bad boy myth, explored the power of nonverbal cues, and even touched on the nuances of physical attraction.
And we dug into the importance of treating everyone with kindness and respect.
Yes, that's a big one. It's all about those core values and how we show up in the world.
Absolutely. It's about recognizing that attraction isn't just about what we see on the surface. It's about connecting with another human being on a deeper level.
And that, my friends, is the beauty of the attraction equation.
It's a complex and fascinating interplay of factors that ultimately contribute to those initial sparks of connection.
Speaking of which, remember that list of 11 things women notice? Well, we've covered quite a few today. But out of all of them, 4 stood out as major talking points. Ready to see if you can guess what they are.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. I have a few ideas based on our conversation so far, but I'm curious to see if our listeners are on the same page.
All right, deep divers, time to put your intuition to the test drum roll, please. All right, deep divers, the moment of truth. The top 4 things women frequently mention are a man's face, his conversational skills, especially a good sense of humor, that all-important smile, and his personal style.
It's fascinating how those align with what we've been discussing about first impressions and genuine connection. It's not just about superficial traits, but what those traits might signal about a person's character, values, and ability to engage in a meaningful way.
Right, it's like these 4 things are key pieces of the puzzle when it comes to making a good first impression, that initial spark that draws you in.
Precisely. But remember, these are just a few insights from one particular perspective. Attraction is a multifaceted experience, influenced by a constellation of factors that go far beyond any single list or set of rules.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic starting point for sure. And it's got us thinking more deeply about all those subtle cues we use to navigate the social world. What message are we sending, even unconsciously, in those first few moments of connection?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it brings us to a final, thought-provoking point for our listeners to ponder. If first impressions are essentially about signaling who we are, what message are you sending without even realizing it?
Ooh, that's a good one to reflect on. It reminds me of that saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. But the good news is, we have the power to shape that impression intentionally or not.
Precisely. It all comes down to self-awareness, authenticity, and a genuine desire to connect with others. What we put out into the world through our words, our actions, our very presence plays a role in shaping those initial perceptions.
Beautifully said. A huge thanks to our expert for diving deep with us today. We've uncovered some fascinating insights about attraction, first impressions, and the intricate dance of human connection.
That's been my pleasure.
And to our amazing listeners, keep those minds curious and those conversations flowing. Until next time, happy deep diving.